Great Monday morning, everyone. How are you all doing? This is your girl, Shan. It is time to get up. It is time to get on our way, and it is time to get this week started. I hope you all had a blessed resurrection weekend, a peaceful, blessed resurrection weekend. I know it was awesome for us. You know, we had a good time and family and just relaxing and things like that. So tonight's show, the topic is getting back to family, because you know our motto is we are helping to build stronger marriages, which lead to stronger families and stronger communities. Good morning, Brandy. And so tonight we're going to be talking about getting back to family and focusing on family. So if you don't already have it saved in your phone as an alert, please go ahead and save 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Download the app KRGN 98.5, which is FM. You got to put FM in there, which is blue and white app from the App Store. But yes, we will be discussing the importance of family and why does it seem like the world is tainting or maybe tainting the world's view of family, our view of family. So anyway, today, in preparing for the show this weekend, and me and my husband was talking and having some conversation and stuff like that, you know, I'm always just thinking about marriage. I can't help it. That's the mission that God has us on right now. And I think about singleness and everything, which our show next week will be dedicated to singles. So all those who are married or all those who have been married before, if you can drop some good old golden nuggets on our page, inbox us or whatever, I'll make sure I kind of put an announcement out there or something like that, or a link that people can respond on about what is one thing that if you had to do it all over again or whatever, you could tell singles. We don't want to leave our singles out because we're always getting approached about that. But today, I cannot love you because I am broken. That's today's topic. I think we'll talk about it some more on tonight's show, but I cannot love you because I am broken. And when are we going to fix this cycle? You know, I'm going to go ahead and say it like this. Husbands and wives, I understand that when we're married, you know, we get frustrated with our spouse and things like that. But have you ever sit back to think, especially if you catch yourself arguing about the same thing over and over and over again, have you ever sit back to think or observe? Because I do, because I don't know, I just think really deep in stuff. I try to think past what I see instead of allowing my emotions and feelings to get caught up in what I see that my husband may do, or, you know, he say that I do, or whatever the case may be, because that's what we used to always argue about, what was imperfect in the other person. Even though we had the understanding when we went before, you know, the pastor or whatever, that we knew that we were not perfect people, but we do hold each other to an unrealistic standard. So anywho, in saying that, have you ever, if you're married or if you've been married before, have you ever been so frustrated about something that goes on in y'all's marriage, but have you taken the time to see, wow, why does this keep happening? I know you probably asked the question to your spouse, probably got your head a bit off, if we could just be honest and real, as I always try to be. But have you ever said and thought, why is it like that? Have you ever tried to connect the dots and say, why is it like that? We are a broken people. We are. No one is perfect. And I'm not trying to say that everybody's broken right now, but there are areas in our life to where we are broken. And what we choose to do is just say, oh, I'm past it, I'm over it. We choose to put it in a box, but that's not really the case, because it manifests itself in an ugly way in our marriage. You know, some of the things that I can link to it, oh my God, I'm trying not to go into the, you know, tonight's show and what we were talking about. But some of the things that I can link to it is, I see it really big in males when you have been raised without a father or a father figure in your life. You know, good morning, Simone. No, I am not knocking any single moms or whatever the case may be. But if those who are married, if you can look at it, because it's two things that I've heard wives say. I've heard them say, what I notice in my husband is that he don't open up much. Well, generally men don't, you know, whatever. Good morning, Andrea. He don't open up much. But what I notice in him is he gets so angry. If your spouse talk to you about something that they see about you and you automatically blow up and go off the handle, that sensitive situation, that tender situation right there shows a sign of brokenness. I'm going to be honest. You know, like I said, it is so unfair for you to sit up and get mad at your spouse and punish your spouse when they say something that they notice, but you haven't even opened up and told them, this is what I went through. I hear a lot of men, the reason why they don't like to do that, because, you know, oh, you're supposed to be the provider, you're supposed to be strong and things like that. I don't want to get into an argument with my spouse. They throw it up in my face later on when we're arguing and stuff like that, but they don't show a sign of openness and express the brokenness that they have, for the simple fact they don't want to show a sign of weakness. But that's why me and my husband encourage, open up to your spouse. And wives, don't throw this stuff back up in your husband's face, because if you know that it takes some time for them to be able to open up and tell you your truth, tell them your true heart, their true heart, you should not ever throw something so sensitive back up in their face in the midst of an argument. Now, I'm going to tell you, that's straight off the board. That's something that's a no-go. You should not do that. That's hitting below the belt as we were raised. But you have people that I've seen, you know, well, I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be, I jump out of this relationship and then I jump into another relationship, not realizing that it's things in us that is broken. Of course, the word of God says, I have made all things new. God can do a new thing in us. But what you have to understand is it's not like magic. It's not like, now, I can't say what God, he can be like, bing, you know, change whatever the case may be. We ain't on that bewitched type situation. That's some witchcraft. But what I'm saying is God can impart and put something in us saying, you know what, it's time for you to change. It's time for you to heal from this situation. I still come across grown people who they're 50, 60 years old and they're mad because of their upbringing still. You are robbing yourself from the life that God, the awesomeness, the fullness of the life that God has for you when you choose not to deal with the things in which that has broken you. That's why the word of God says forgive. That's why the word of God says go and get it right. And what we tend to do as a husband and wife is, because we don't want to open up to our spouse and allow them in, allow them to pray with us, allow them to pray for us, because we don't want to appear weak, or we say we've already handled it when obviously we have not, because it is destroying our marriage at every turn. It is causing unnecessary arguments and things like that in our marriage. Somebody could be broken because they don't have their child around them right now. Somebody could be broken because their ex-wife or the ex-husband is keeping their child away from them. You know, somebody could be broken from that last marriage that they were in, that last relationship with that guy that they were in. But we choose to say, no, we're good, we're all right, but we don't understand when we get into a new thing, we can ruin that, even when God say, you know what? This is who I created for you to be married to. This is your wife, or this is your husband. Do what you need to do. Go get them, you know, husbands. Go get that wife, that good thing, whatever, and obtain favor from me, the Lord. You know what I'm saying? But because we're not willing to deal with the hurt issues, there are some deep-seated hurt issues. I have heard men say, heck, well, I didn't have my daddy in my life. I didn't grow up with my daddy in my life, so my kid will be all right. I turned out okay. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because if you turned out okay, you wouldn't be saying that in what you said. Because most men that I know that grew up without their father in their lives, or daughters who grew up without their father in their lives, or whatever the case may be, they work hard to make sure that that never happens to their child. So that's why I said, when is the cycle going to stop? They work hard. Now, we don't understand. Kids are so sensitive. Children are sensitive, and they understand when things are going on. They understand when mama's not feeling right. They can tell when something is wrong with daddy, whatever the case may be. I wouldn't say express your brokenness to your children, because it's probably too much for their little minds to handle. And see, that's where we mess up as grown-ups. We'll talk more to our children about our problems like they are friend, before we'll talk to the person who's our real friend, which is our spouse. Good morning, Yvonne. We'll set up and we'll talk to our kids about the arguments that we're going through with the husband and the wife before we talk to the husband and wife. That is so unfair to put that responsibility on your child. Because if you're not going to take it to the Lord in prayer, you're not going to open up and talk to your spouse about it. Why are you telling your 10, 11, 12-year-old child, and then you sitting up here wondering why your child is growing up or they seem like they just so grown up or whatever, because they haven't been given the opportunity to live a carefree child life. Because we rather talk to them because that's our friend, which, you know, that's a whole nother video. Let me not even go down that road, that rabbit trail or whatever, instead of talking to our spouse. Or if you feel, I can never talk to my husband and my wife because they're always so judgmental. Every time I try to open up, they always got some slick and sly to say out their mouth, which I've seen husbands and wives do that in public. And you know, if anybody who's been listening to us for a while know that that is something that irritates me to no end. You do not disrespect your spouse in front of people. You don't disrespect your spouse, period. And then you sitting up here wondering why they don't open up and talk to you when they broken and when they really need help, why they burying themselves in their alcohol, why they going to get that weed or whatever the case may be, why they sitting up here and you like, why you always turn to the alcohol, why you always drunk? Because boo-boo, I can't open up to you because you're not going to do nothing but condemn me, but you can sit up and try to go help everybody else with their problems. You could be laying hands on people at the altar. You could be doing this, that, and other, lifting up everybody else's marriage, but you're not lifting up your own. You're not working to lift up your own. You're not praying for your own family. You're not praying for your own marriage. You're not praying for your own children, but you're sitting out here trying to, for the sake of heirs of people, trying to save the world when you got your own spouse that's sitting home broken. That's why we always say that the ministry starts at home. You have to start at home with the ministry. Hush your mouth up sometime and listen to your spouse when they're trying to express something broken, and you might learn something and it'll take your marriage to a deeper level. I'm trying to tell you what I know. I remember when my husband had shared something with me and we had been married for some time. He had opened up and shared something or whatever, and I was so hurt because I thought it was all about me. I'm like, wait a minute, Joker, I've been married to you all these years. You mean to tell me you couldn't tell me this? And I remember I was talking to my homegirl, and that's why I love iron sharpening iron. I was talking to my friend on the phone. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And she was like, hush. And I'm like, but you don't understand. You're supposed to. She was like, no. She said, because this is one thing that you got to understand. When your husband, being a man, opens up to you as his wife, that is a big step. But she said, this is not all about you, so quit making it about you. Now, mind you, this is somebody that I love and I respect and I trust with my whole heart. And she read me and told me nothing but the truth, which is something that I needed to hear. She said, so what you not going to do is be angry for him. What you going to do is pray for him. What you going to do is speak life into him. See, them are the type of friends that you need around you, that's going to check you and tell you, baby, it's not all about you. You see what I'm saying? So when we're talking about a sense of brokenness, when somebody's walking around broken, when they sitting up here telling you, baby, I love you, but I can't love you the way that you need to be loved right now because I'm broken. I got something in me. I don't even want to talk about it right now. You know what I'm saying? I just need for you to pray for me. How many of y'all going to actually do that? You know what I'm saying? But what we tend to do, because this is one thing about husbands and wives that I absolutely love, is, and our professor said this, which is so true. Like I was saying, you can't see what your own face look like unless you look into something that's reflective. But your husband or your wife that's married to you, they can see what's going on with you. They can see what's bothering you. I've been married to my husband so long without even having to look at him. I can tell when his pain start acting up in his neck, because you become so in tuned, as the scriptures say, you're no longer two but one flesh. Good morning, Natasha, that you can feel each other when each other is going through. So if your spouse is feeling that they are so broken that they can't open up to you, then I encourage you to check yourself. What is it about me to where my spouse feel like they can't open up to me? Probably because they feel that you don't do nothing but put them down. You don't do nothing but tell them how much of a failure that they are, but you don't understand how much additional hurt that you're putting on them. Okay? If they grew up and they never told you that they grew up in a household where they were always told that they would never be worth nothing, they're never good for nothing, you know, they never got those positive reinforcements, and then they turn around and marry you, and you telling your husband how sorry he is, he's supposed to be the man of the household, God say that you're supposed to be like this, that, and the other. You adding more on to that brokenness. Good morning to Shoni, and that hurt that your spouse is going through. Okay, it's somebody that's single right now. You're in a period of brokenness, even though you put a fake smile on your face and you act like everything is okay. You may be in your marriage right now and you're in a period and a time frame of brokenness in your marriage, and your spouse is putting them down, why can't you tell them? Get to a place where you get that healing, because God will make all three things new. But what we have to understand is we have to take some action on our part. So get to a place in your marriage, if your spouse is putting you down and it's making you flash back to your life when you were younger, then open up your mouth, if you can, without anger. Good morning, Melissa. And say, you know what? You're reminding me of the bondage in which I used to be in when I grew up as a child. Or if they're coming at you some type of way, or they're trying to because I've seen stuff like this where, oh, this is our money, but I'm going to set up here and I'm going to divvy out to you. Because I've seen where husbands divvy out to their wife. Okay, here's $100. Go try to get us some groceries. Okay, this is my, okay, what is it about your spouse to why they do that? Have you ever took a deeper level and went to that root of what it is, of why your spouse is that way? Good morning, Kim. Have we ever did that? Some will say no, because we allow that pride and that ego to step in the way. But we're sitting up here talking about we believe in faith and we trust in God that our marriage is going to be a whole lot better. No, because faith without works is dead. You got to put some work on it. We can't set up and oh, God just gonna change it around. No, check yourself, husband and wife. Check yourself. What is it that you're doing that's causing your spouse to be further broken? And then you wonder why you end up in divorce court. What is it that you're doing? That one thing, and some people are in marriage and it's something that their spouse has done in their marriage that has broken them. But let me ask you a question. What is it? Because I remember growing up, and I remember, like I said, when I first got with my husband, I was like, look, I'm going to be straight off the cuff. These things right here, I can't deal with. I can't deal with nobody disrespecting me. My husband ain't never called me the B word or nothing like that. These I can't deal with, brother. I'm trying to tell you before we say I do. I will dip if these things happen, because those were things that tied me back to my past of what I grew up in. You know what I'm saying? When you generally marry your husband or your wife, you don't want to relive and go down the road of that in which you had in your childhood. That bondage, being broke financially, being physically, mentally abused, sexually abused. You don't want to go down that road. But if you don't open up to your spouse and tell them, this is why I'm broken, this is why I feel that I can't talk to you. Don't blame your spouse. If the issue is something that happened in your past, I don't know about anybody else that's married on here, but there used to be a time period when us as parents, what we would do is we would want our kids to have better than what we had. But in order for them to have better than what we have, and we're not talking about just material possessions, we're talking about that upbringing, that atmosphere in their home, that life. Have better than what we have. That's the better than what we have that we're supposed to be having. I don't want my marriage to end up in divorce like my parents. I want to work extra hard and do whatever I got to do so we can help change this legacy of divorces in our lineage. No, it stops here. So who's going to be grown enough to say it stops here? I'm done. All that stuff in bondage and hurt and everything from the past is going to stay in the past. What are we doing to change it? Good morning, Cousin Kim. What are we doing to change it? Are we doing anything? Or are we just saying, well, that's what happened with my family, so it's okay? No, the devil is a lie. If we call ourselves children of the Most High God, we need to stand up and make a change. We need to come out of that bondage of brokenness and be able to open up to our spouse and talk to them and tell them what's going on. And spouse, like I said, don't you sit up here and throw that back in their face. So y'all have a blessed day. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Join us tonight, where our show is 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on KRGN 98.5 FM. Go to the App Store, download the app. We're going to be talking about getting back to family and the importance of getting back. Now, your girl, she ain't going to be back with y'all tomorrow, baby. I'm going to talk about something so juicy and deep tomorrow. All I got to say is be prepared, okay? Just be prepared because, yeah, I'm going to be talking about those children out there that don't have no mama and no daddy, and I'm going to leave it at that. Y'all have a blessed day and blessings to you. I'll be back with y'all tomorrow. God bless.